when people say, well, no, I can't buy that because it's too fragile, I say, well, what do you do with your windows in your house? Because your windows are made out of glass, right? It's incredibly strong. At a microscopic level, like we can't see that it bends, but it actually does bend. It's also anamorphic, which is really interesting. So that means that it is a solid. When you look at it, it's a solid. But at the molecular level, it actually acts more like a liquid. And I really love that dichotomy. I think that's really cool. So you have to get it to the right texture so that it's wet enough that it sticks together, but it's not super, super wet. You're trying to make every single little grain kind of interlock with each other. And you place it inside the mold, and then with all sorts of little tools that I've made for myself, I pack it in. And this process takes quite a long time. And very meditative. You just sit here and tap, 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 tap. You do that in 3 or 4 layers, and then you put it into the kiln, and it fires, and then you're left with a vessel that's actually made out of crushed glass. Glass does different things at different temperatures. So if you go very quickly, the glass can actually fall off the sides and kind of slump in, and you end up with a nice little puck at the end of the mold. My success with these vessels, I would say, is about 80%, so I lose about 20% of them. We call that the kiln gods. So, yeah, it's just something, it's kind of like farming. You're never quite sure what you're going to get. So. Each piece that I make has a narrative. So for example, this piece is inspired by my dog walks down the back road, the sky and the prairie. We all know what it's like. It's absolutely gorgeous, right? So these are, yeah, they're extensions of myself and of my environment, of the prairies. I started out as a visual artist and was always doing that. And then I decided that I wanted to make that happen in space, and it led me to theater. And so when I was in Montreal, I ended up working with Angus.
We kind of wanted to have a home and kids and live in one place. And we also found ourselves sort of getting hired to do other people's plays all the time. So I guess we were on the verge of quitting theater. Maybe we've had enough. And we kind of went, no, I love the art form. I love making plays. So let's do something really stupid.
We decided that we wanted to move back to the prairies and start our own theater. And so that's what we did 25 years ago.
We were never aiming to make theater that would be big in Toronto or Vancouver. We were really wanting to talk to a Saskatchewan audience. So we started making original world premiere productions, working with writers, because that's who was talking to our audience. We found a way of making the theater we wanted to make. We found an amazing community of artists that we loved working with. So we just kept doing it. Really, we've not had time to sit and sort of reflect on whether this is a good idea or not.
I can't stand being alone. I have huge abandonment issues.
And I think the theater has added to the community, absolutely. But yeah, it's very diverse. There are potters, painters, jewelry makers, musicians, so it's a really interesting community to be in, very inspirational, right? And then about 10 years ago, I kind of went, okay, I'd like to do something solitary for a while, which is, you know, good. And I happened to take a workshop, a weekend workshop in stained glass. I'd never done it before. I went, let's go have some fun. And all of a sudden I went, oh, this is the medium I've actually been looking for forever. That, for me, creates a healthy lifestyle, right? Because you need to collaborate with people, you need those relationships, you need to explore things together and create things together, and then you need to go away and do your own thing and figure out how that works, and then when you've done that, you come back and you share that. So for me, I really need that. I think Saskatoon is actually really a vibrant city, and I think it has a lot of arts going for it, visually, theater, everything. It's pretty amazing for the size of a city that it is.
Every day, depending on how you're feeling.
I really enjoy the idea that I have a chance to be part of that, right? To add to the vibrancy of the city. As an artist, I believe that you have to keep things really open. So although you're creating a piece and you have an idea for it, I like the piece to be more like a gong. So you hit it and it kind of sends out these, it's a tone and it kind of makes you feel something, and everybody would hear the tone differently. Although this piece is actually quite strong, it looks really fragile and it kind of speaks to the fragility of the environment. When it gets fired, the leaves and the flowers actually burn off, but they leave an ash portrait of themselves. It's incredibly beautiful. It's there, but it's not there. But it's also incredibly sad when you look at it and you go, yeah, that's actually what we're doing. I found out that the Oxford Young Dictionary was removing words from the dictionary so that they could introduce new words. And when I actually looked at what words they were removing from the dictionary, they were all nature words. They were words like ash and ivy and acorn and fern. I wanted to kind of show how sacred they are and how important they are. So that's where this piece came from. I worked with the wood to create this idea of a current, and then there's these three little boats in it, kind of following the river, and some of it is precarious and some of it isn't, and it basically shows how life is. You know, you can go through a part in life where things are calm and things are peaceful, and then you hit something and you have a very turbulent life at one point, and then it moves on. The piece also speaks to me, so I'll create a part of it and I'll look at it and it sounds kind of funny, but the piece will say, yes, I'm okay with this, let's continue, or the piece will say, nope, I'm not doing that, and I have to find another way around it. I like being in the studio with an idea and seeing what comes, what my hands create, kind of thing. So it's a lot of times it's a surprise to me as much as it is to everyone else what actually transpires. So, and I like that.
That's kind of interesting.